Good morning to everybody. Good morning. Ishi. Ishi. When you say Ishi, it's okay. It's a pleasure to be sent by Jesus here to speak to you, to be the voice of Jesus, who is suffering, who is in pain, who is dying, who is abandoned and unloved. A few days ago, about 15 days ago, I was very sick in Ethiopia, and I need to go to a washroom. You say washroom, huh? Our washrooms are not like yours, so beautiful. So there was a small room done of sheets, and then a big hole, huh? Then a big hole. And when I was there, I heard a cry of a child. And I said, how is it? What is this cry? And I have a torch. I always carry with me a torch. And with this torch, I looked down in the hole, and I found that there was a baby thrown exactly in that trash. A baby who was there, abandoned by someone. And when you see him, I tell you the truth, I'm looking for the thing to pass the photos. I don't know where I put it. Don't have to come. What is it? Anyhow, when I see the child, I saw Jesus himself. It's very interesting that while the child was crying, and I with other people went down to look for the baby, when I embraced him, started smiling. I found it. Just his presence is a blessing. Thank you. So it's very common to see Jesus in the streets and abandoned. This is a place which we call it marketplace. And in the marketplace, every Wednesday and Saturday is the biggest day which we work more as priests and sisters. Because we go in the afternoon when the people are leaving. And it happens many often that when they are leaving, mother have to do a choice. Whom I'm going to take back with me and which child I have to abandon. And they abandon because lack of food. So when we go in the evening, generally, we always find babies like this, which you are seeing now. It's a pity there is so much light, you cannot see them better, the photos. And we collect babies from the streets. Baby naked, full of problems. For example, in this photo, you see that I am measuring the hand of the boy. The color is red instead green. You saw it? It's red near the head. That means that guy is malnourished 95%. 95%. And I always have the invitation to myself in my heart, love him. And I hear the voice of Jesus as he said to St. Peter, do you love me? Do you love me? And each time that I embrace a child, I say my Mass. Every time that I embrace a child and nurse a child and try to heal him, first of all with my love, I am celebrating my holy Mass. And I feel blessed. Because we, missionaries, we are sent to the mission to give life in abundance. That is the mission which Jesus gives to us. So like this child, we have so many others. As we are in Lent, I invite you, all of you, to listen the voice of Prophet Isaiah 58, 6 and 7. What type of fasting? What type of fasting God wants of me and of you? The kind of fasting is not you don't eat meat, you don't take Coca-Cola or something good that he is taking. No. It's to let free the oppressed, those who are suffering. And how many people are suffering? How many people are suffering? Abandoned. Abandoned. This child, she was abandoned in the street and then was found by the monkeys. The monkeys took her in their area. They cared for her for 2 months. And then an old woman found her and brought her to hospital. I was informed, I went to get her. Patricia, her name. Patricia. But it happened the day after. When I went to collect her, the baby girl, Patricia, was not there anymore. Disappeared. Somebody had stolen her to sell her organs. So I have to double my energy. Since I love Jesus, I have to defend the life of this. We arrested 3 nurses so that truth can come out to find the girl. Because, as I said, we are there to give life in abundance. Life in abundance. And after 3 days, Patricia was found. Was found. It's a blessing. So we can do this only with love. If we don't have love, we cannot receive Holy Communion, Jesus. If we don't have love, we cannot look to others as my brother or as my sister. Only when we love, we are shape of God, image of God. Otherwise, we are no more the children of God. Babies you find everywhere. Give them shelter. Give them shelter. The idea of killing a child in Africa is very common. It's very common. Especially when he is with special necessities, they just put a pillow on the face of the child and suffocate him. But we, when you look to children like this in our incubators, we see baby Jesus in the manger. And with much love, we adore him. We serve him. Because there is no privilege bigger than that, to love your neighbor. And love your neighbor, not because the neighbor will love you back. No, you love him because he deserved to be loved. Because you can save your soul only when you love your neighbor. If you don't love your neighbor, if you turn your face and your back to a child like that, the Gospels tell us God will not bless us. I was hungry, and you turned your face. I was thirsty, and you don't give me water. How many children die of hunger? How many? Thousands. And these are not news. And all of us must be agents of love. Agents of love. In the work we do, we think of them, we pray of them. And sometimes we have to challenge ourselves to empty our pockets. Empty our pockets. And when we do that, we become rich. We become rich. So like these children, which their weight, it must be 1.5 pound only, very light. You can handle them in one hand, but you see in them the image of Jesus. The biggest privilege that you can have, kiss and defend the life. Kiss and defend the person who is fragile. You see another child here. This is also another one abandoned. Mother Teresa, oh, Blessed Mother Teresa, also we can call her saint already. When she was in Ethiopia with me many times, she always used to tell me, Father George, Ethiopia is a continuous Calvary. Is a continuous Calvary. And here you see a child like that, you can count the bones. You can see the belly swollen, full of worms. And to treat a child like that is not easy. With some drops of milk powder, we can save many children. Many children. But you need patience, you need dedication. And to love others, you must be holy. You must be holy. If you are not holy, you will not have the courage to stay 2 hours next to him. It's not the first time that we will not see the bed to sleep, but we stay next to them. As they are dying, we stay next to them. Because when we stay next to them, even they feel our presence. They feel our love. And love brings revolution. Look to this child. This is a story of sadness. See, his eyes are white, malnutrition, high grade, swollen as he is. He was abandoned in the street for days, dying. People passing by, nobody stopped. Nobody had seen Jesus. Even if people had faith and say they are Orthodox or Catholics, they passed next to him and nobody stopped. But one lady from Addis Ababa came to our side, that means 24 hours driving. She stopped in front of him. And she saw him and brought him to our home. One of the first things which we noticed in this child is not only his poverty, his malnutrition, but his big problem. He is with depression. Depression. Imagine a child with depression because nobody knows him. Because nobody sees in him a man of God. Because nobody sees in him the Son of God alone, here abandoned. So you see how he is. And imagine you. Jesus, you meet him in the street like this. What will be your reaction? Because love have legs. Love have a heart. Love runs and embrace. Love gives life. Love gives life. This child, he remained with us 7 months without opening his mouth. 7 months without opening his mouth. Depression was so big upon him. So he don't believe in no one and nobody because he never received love. I insisted with the sister, when I am in that home, I myself will go to treat him with some rice and milk powder. And I speak with him and he not answer. Just look to my face, eyes to eyes. That was the dialogue. But after that I can say, now the child is getting better because not of the medicine, because of the love. Brothers and sisters, we go to heaven only if we love. If we don't love, nobody can enter heaven. You may be intelligent, wealthy, famous, people clap hands to you, a good footballer or something like that. Not important. Importance is to be simple and loving. No need to go to university to know how to love. Just love. Just love with faith. And when you love with faith, you see Jesus alive. Jesus alive. See this guy. I am afraid when I see a child like this. Because this had drank water which was polluted. So under his skin, as you are seeing, there are like black things, isn't it? Those are worms. So to remove that worms, since we are in Ethiopia, very remote areas, we have no medicine to remove the worms. So what we do, a child like that, in his age, 7, 8 years, you see that blood is coming from his eye, all is sign of malnutrition. So what we do, we get the child, we bound him upside down, we put him upside down, hang him upside down for half an hour, a session of half an hour. We put 2 pieces of stone or wood in his mouth to make the mouth open. We put some milk on the ground, on the plate, milk, fresh milk it must be, which is very expensive. And then, although the child does not like it, but the worms start smelling the milk, which comes from the mouth, and the worms start coming down from the stomach, from the body, up to the mouth, goes down to the milk. And in that way, we save many and many children. Because otherwise the child, he become ever more swollen, full of those worms, and he die malnourished. And I tell you, if, for example, let's say to me, a few years ago, 5 years ago, my mother died, I was sad when I heard that my mother died. I was not there. I was in Brazil. But I tell you, I feel much bad when I see a child like this dying of malnutrition in a world where there is so much wealth, and the boy die of hunger. So my pain is much bigger. And poverty is a cry. It's a cry. I feel blessed to be here today to use this meetup, which I pray that God will bless him. He paid my ticket to come. He invited me to come. And I feel blessed because I can be the voice of these children, a voice of these children. And remember another thing. There is no poor who cannot give to others something. No. All of us are rich. We can give something to others. I don't know if I have here a photo of one of these children. When I was distributing rice to people, to children, when some of them were returning back to their homes, one of them greeted me with his hand closed like that. I told him, you cannot do that. He said, Father, with a smile. What have you in your hand? He doesn't want to tell me. So I told him, I will double what you have. Just show me. And he opened his hand, and there were 7 grains of rice. 7 grains of rice. Where are you taking this rice? I asked him. He told me, Father, my brother is dying at home. Why have you not brought him here to eat rice? Father, my brother cannot walk. And I had not the courage to eat all the rice alone. By the way, we give them only 7 spoons of rice. That's all for the day, the menu. So I feel obliged and happy to share with my brother some of this rice. This is the beauty of love. You see another child here swollen like that. Why? Because the mother, although she lived after she gave birth to the child, she had not milk. So instead of milk, even to a child like that, instead of milk, she gave him polluted water. Polluted water. So this boy is already full of worms. And we cannot remove the worms until he has a certain age of 3 to 4 years. We try to defend it by giving some milk powder, but it helps in a way, but not that much. God gave us so much beautiful chances to love him. Occasions. Don't lose occasion. Don't lose occasion. Eustace came to Ethiopia. On the way, he remembered there was a man who was trying to give birth outside the house. The case was serious, isn't it, Eustace? So they remembered me. Father, give her a blessing. At least if she will not die, the child can also be saved. And we perceived that the boy was upside down in the womb. So their faith, my faith, God's presence, we prayed. And after 3 hours, the baby was saved. He turned upside down normally to go out, to start life. So beautiful to stop in front of the one who is crying and be a part of his life. Look to this child, Mebrato. Mebrato was found by me a few years ago, 3 years ago, in this situation. Skeleton, eyes closed, 14 fingers, not only 10, 14 fingers, big belly, silent. You don't know if he is speaking, if he can speak or not. So in the same moment, we had done the option. Our car was full of people, so remove 2 of them that he can come with his brother to our clinic. And love make miracles. So you see him now. You see him now. You see now, there are 2 smiles. Perhaps mine is bigger than his. Mine like a crocodile. Eh? But it's so beautiful, so consoling. When you give this opportunity to others to smile, to look to life with an optimistic eyes. And this depends of how much we love, how much we live the gospel. Because mercy, only mercy, restores lives. Only mercy restores lives. There is no other way. Only mercy, no medicine, not water restores life. Love, mercy, mercy. The more you give mercy, the more God infuse on you this mercy, and so that you can give this to so many others. I started with the story when I went to the washroom. This is another sister who every day she is obliged, seems funny, she is obliged to go to the washrooms, public washrooms. And there sometimes she finds these abandoned babies. Her name is Sister Lydia. We control her. Sometimes she is a bit nervous, but she is doing well also to be controlled. But you see what baby is feel comfortable in her hands. And these are found always in these places. This is another girl, Marmesh. I know them by name, so beautiful. It's a privilege. This Marmesh, which was born disabled, blind, and cannot walk. And we told that, you see once again, Jesus alive. And this, her salvation depends on each one of us. Her salvation depends on what we do. So I found her in the trash with her sister. And I asked the sister, why are you here in the trash? My father never embraced my little sister. Now he doesn't want her anymore at home. So he told me, take her to the trash, let her be eaten by the hyenas. By the hyenas. And so I joking with her, I said, I'm not a hyena, but I have my mule. I will take you to my home. But where is your home? She doesn't know me. So both of them I put them on my mule. I was walking with the mule, and we arrived to our home. And Marmesh was saved from the teeth of the hyenas. The hyenas are very strong animals, cruel. They not just kill, but they cut in pieces the body. 2 years ago in Grima, uses again knows where, in Grima, we were distributing food for families. Thousands of people come. So the day after, I was sleeping at the sister's house. And early in the morning, at 3 in the morning, we heard the hyenas shouting. Very dangerous, because they never come alone. They come in group of 4, 5. So when we heard the hyenas coming, we said, hey, danger is very near. And after a few seconds, we heard a woman shouting. We got our spears to go down to see what we can do. When the hyenas saw us, they ran. But they attacked a woman who was there early in the morning, at 3 in the morning. She came to be the first one to receive food for her children. But unfortunately, she was attacked. The hyenas had removed the left hand, and they ran with that, and she was dying. Before she died, she told me, please, save my children. They are in that valley. There is one of them who is dead. He is there on the table, dead. But there are still 3. Save them. I came here early to bring some food to them. And you become the agent of love. The agent of love. So when we see like this, we remember all those who were abandoned, thousands and thousands, which needs really our love. We don't give them special food. We select and make them in groups of 12, as you are seeing here, groups of 12. And everybody together, they share, they share. Then after eat, they select one of them to clean the plate with his tongue. It's not a punishment, no? It's not a punishment. But it's a pleasure to clean in that way. And here, unfortunately, I'm afraid if some people still throw away in the trash the food. You cannot do that. Cook less and make a box to save money and send it toward the missions. We have many thousands of children who need that. If I show you the photos of the water which we have, you will not believe. And they need a piece of bread, only once a day, or 7 spoons of rice, not more than that. We have to be close to those who are suffering. The child is crying for 2 reasons. He's crying because he is a friend of me. He is afraid of me. I am a white one, Muzungu, Farenji. So they are afraid of me. And the tradition also says take care of the white man, because the white man comes to the black and beat him. The old story of slavery. So, in the beginning, they are afraid. But once we go with the cross, once we carry with us Jesus, we become the hands of Jesus, the heart of Jesus, and we share love, and things change for better. You see another boy, this is a very bad story. He saw his father doing suicide. His mother disappeared. And he was roaming in the street. If you can see his eyes, he is swollen, all swollen, malnourished, 95%. We tried to remove the worms which he had inside, but unfortunately, the boy died because he arrived very late. And I asked myself, as one day Saint Gregory the Great had done a question. Saint Gregory the Great was a bishop who was a pope, who used to eat with 12 beggars daily. And one of them, he heard that somebody died with hunger. And Saint Gregory said and asked, Am I the one who killed him? Am I the one who killed him? Because I don't give him food. He accused himself because somebody died of hunger. I think in this case, how many of us have to point our fingers to ourselves? I am a killer. Although I am not in prison, I am a killer. Because a child, every 5 seconds, die of hunger. And maybe I never opted to help them. I'm not here to praise children, to praise some one of you. But I see my friend in front of me, Monsignor Schifo. In his position as a priest, as a parish priest, when I go to cry to him in the name of the children, he always tells me, yes, Father, let's do it. And we save children. And we save children. It's an honor to laugh. It's the biggest happiness when you are close to those who are suffering. So if you are sad, laugh. See the eyes of the child. No blood is there. The skull is already removing from his face. This is the pain. The pain of an egoistic word. A pain of indifference. Indifference. How many times we are indifferent? I help, I do all my best to save my children. But I don't think that the poor is my brother, is my sister. With the grace of the Lord, although I take care of children, I take care also of lepers. Lepers. And the lepers, they live in the cemetery. In the cemetery. So this Buru, with his children, have 5 children. They live in the cemetery. They sleep in the cemetery. Some of the children sleep in the tomb. Sleeps in the tomb. A few days ago, when they were inside the tomb and the small room for him and his wife, they heard people crying. But it was very early in the morning. So after they went, the crying stopped. He came out to see what's happening. And he found a leper, a dead leper. Those people brought him to the cemetery. And as he was smelling very, very bad, they had not the courage to bury him. They just abandoned him in the cemetery. And this guy, he said, how can I do that? I am also paralyzed. You see, he is impaired, special needs. So he entered inside with his wife, looked to here and hear this. They prayed together that God sent somebody to bury that person. And after a few minutes, a blind man came with his wife. A blind man. And so he told them, listen, I used to bury people, but one day when I opened the tomb, insects came from the ground and they blind me. So today it's a bit difficult to me to bury people, but if you can help me, I will touch the leper and I will bury him with dignity. So beautiful. So beautiful. And they prayed for him and they buried him. This is Buru, which is looking to have a house. A simple house. But it's so nice to receive Jesus. This is a wound of a child, another child well malnourished. Look to the wound in his leg. Is it not like that of Jesus on the cross, dying of hunger, dying and thirsty, dying and abandoned of those whom he loved, of those who had given them so much graces and miracles? This is the same child, which he does not deserve that. Nobody was born to die of hunger. Nobody is born to die of lack of water. We have everything. God gave us 3 times more wealth and goods to do. Look to this head. Malnutrition. malnutrition. To heal a child in the head like that, it is not so easy. But with God's grace, because we have a good will and we have the grace of the Lord, we save children like this. The children are happy with a piece of bread. They have no choice, but happiness arrives the same. Bread, this is what we give. In this time of Lent, ask yourself, what shall I do to make Jesus happy? Two things to make Jesus happy: good confession and an act of charity. Good confession. Here you have a chance today to confess. Confess also your egoism. Confess your blindness in not seeing the poor, in not seeing the needy one. And then love. Love your neighbor in a very different ways of life. See another type of famine, full of wounds, the head. And here is very interesting. This is a lake which we have. So as the people does not know how to read, the government had put a sign, that painting. And then that painting signifies that that water is polluted and dangerous. Don't drink it. But why the government put this advice? He don't give them solution. He don't give them solution of good water or a borehole. So the people are obliged once again to drink that water because there is no other chance. And look to the water which they drink. This is the pain which many people suffer because of injustice, of corruption. Water like that, used for everything. And do you believe that that water goes in the stomach? Women, once again, looking for water. This is in Gambela area. I don't know if you have been to Gambela. Have you been? So Gambela is one of the worst places, very extremely hot, but also we are protected by God. I can tell you a very small story of my friend, the bishop there, Bishop Angelo. Now he is dying. We pray for him. He is in Italy. But until last year, he was still okay. So we were sleeping together outside the house in the veranda, no? Outside, because it was so hot. And so it happened that in a moment, early in the morning, this bishop starts shouting, oh, shouting loudly. So we wake up all. What happened? Who is the one who is shouting? We saw that it was the bishop. So he told me, oh my God, I could die now. What happened? A snake. When he was sleeping, he felt something tiding him. And when he opened his eyes, it was a snake who surrounded him 3 times. So he was afraid what to do. And as he is a Salesian, he must have a big devotion to Our Lady. No, he said the Hail Mary. And when he finished the Hail Mary, the snake went alone without even touch him or harm him. So but after that, he entered in a shock. So love Our Lady. Love also Our Lady. It's out of subject. It is in the subject. So this is the water which we drink. This is also a nice case to see that only love can heal. Only love is the medicine. Love is the medicine. This girl, Elizabeth, she was found in the trash, brought to us, to Addis Ababa, by the policeman. After a few days, her head becomes big with water. We operate her 4 times. It was all in vain. Now, her head is bigger than all her body. We are waiting her to die in these days. But interesting that we, because we take attention on seeing the suffering people, how can we help her? We help her by giving her little water every day, little water and little vitamins. But especially not to cry, and the cry is very bad because she doesn't speak. But she hears. So she make a radio, a sound next to her, and she likes music. So when we open the radio, she is super calm. And see that love can change the life. Love can make miracles. It's me, this is my Toyota. It's different of yours, isn't it? No, No petrol, economy, not run that much, but it's part of our life. Okay, these are children and poverty. You can see it very easy how really these people live. It's a big suffering, but in that pain, Jesus arrives and Jesus is found. This is a family, a mother, which was brought to us. She was dying completely. She was dying. And we helped her and saved the baby which we gave birth. They brought the woman on a chair, on the shoulders, no? That way you have no ambulance. So they carry her on the shoulders. But it's so beautiful that all the community helps. So pain is shared. Pain is shared. Love is big and increase every more. So then we went to her home. Her husband is disabled. That is the home which she lives. And she was happy that we saved her. So to be next to the poor is a privilege. To be next to the poor is a blessing and a very big blessing. And you must be happy, because when you give something to others, that means Jesus is working in you. Jesus is working in you. When you stop next to someone who is abandoned, excluded from the society, and you be next to him, be sure that you are a living gospel, a living and walking gospel, and that is what God expects of each one of us. So these are more children. We prepare them also for cataract operations. Now we are doing cataract operation. A few days ago we had done 600 cataract operations. So see the face of sadness before operation. See the face after of the result. It's so beautiful. So how many people can be changed? This is also after operation, prepared for the day to start seeing. And see at the neck, goita, lack of salt, it comes that to him. Naked children, it's very common to us. Blind children, trachoma, see the face of this Jesus. See the face of this Jesus and reflect, what can I do? What can I do? I'm looking for happiness. If you're looking for happiness, save these children. A blind, dumb, and deaf girl, abandoned in the street, now is with us. 2 babies abandoned together. I think we spoke enough, so I can stop. And water, lack of water. And if you want, you can do also some questions, no problem. I will be happy. See the difference when they are alone and then when they are in our homes. So education is given to them. This is in Kenya, also our homes, HIV children, but they are loved. Teaching them some education. They have no exercise book. They do them on a piece of wood. This is the way how they study. These are our first classrooms, but we start because education is power. And then we go even to Microsoft and microscope. No? How do you say? No, computer, ignorant. So this is how we teach them. Now we are thinking further to build the first secondary school for disabled children. It will be the first time that in Kenya we will have a secondary school for children. I request PayPal Foundation to help me use this. Huh? God bless you. God bless you. Thank you. No.
Abaji! Abaji! He gets mad when I clap for him, but I'm sorry, Abba, I love you. Yeah, so are there any questions? Just a couple of, before we talk about our preparation for confession and go to lunch. One of the great questions that we asked Abaji in our gospel reflection group was, all of us have been up there late at night and you see these TV shows and it's helped the poor children in Africa and people send money and what have you. And the truth is, we wanted to find out, because you hear these things, well, 60 cents goes to administration and 20 cents goes to expenses and maybe 20 cents gets to the children. As Abba said, we gave him a ticket to come here today. He has the clothes on his back. His whole organization that handles 40,000 orphans is right here. Unbelievable story. We've been there. So 10 cents, 100 cents of every dollar goes to the children. And as you look at those pictures, I know for Susie and myself and Father Chifo and a group of us and some of us who've been over there, you look at these pictures and you see these bright clothes and you think to yourself, some of them look pretty good. The fact of the matter is, that's all they are, is bright colors. And the children, when you go there, you see the dirt and the filth and the sadness. So, Abba, what can we do here, which, by the way, could give us hopefully a leg up to get our name in the book, too. What can we do here today, in your opinion, as a group, to help the children?
I ask too many. Two things. First, pray. Pray for us. Even a Hail Mary. I prefer the Our Father, because that is have the sense of community. The second thing, if at least today you can give us, each one of you, milk powder tin. It's only €6, $6. So if somebody wants to be happy and bring home this happiness, give us €6, $6 to save 50 children from death. Only $6 can make a big difference. During lunch, I will be there also. We will distribute this paper. Keep it in your home. There is the address. If somebody wants later, not today, send us something, there is the address. But be happy to serve Jesus, alive, unexpected, to be loved, and is ready to be loved for you and by you. Thank you.
Abba, thank you very much. So, Joe, Dr. Joe, can you stand up? Can you come up here for a minute? So Dr. Joe Woodring, who is Abba's chauffeur today, will be in the cafeteria as we're walking in. You'll see them at the first round, Abba G and Dr. Woodring, and he'll have a big bag there. And if you feel that that's how you'd like to help and see the face of if you saw the face of Jesus in these children today, whatever you want to give, whatever you feel the Lord is telling you to, or maybe later, take one of the leaflets. But if you feel the Holy Spirit moving you, Joe has a bag there. And Joe, in between bites of your turkey sandwich, if you can say hi to the people, the men here. And Abba G will be here also. Abba, don't be afraid to take a couple of those turkey sandwiches with you when you go too, okay? Abba G, he's in the book. Give him some love.